Hi there! Good morning, class! Masaya na naman ako at muli, magkakaroon na naman tayo ng bagong lesson. So, nung nakaraang lesson natin, we had our topics about the particle nature of matter in terms of solids, liquids, and gases. Ngayon, kung hindi nyo pa napapanood ang topic na yon, you can pause this video and watch that first. Ngayon, we will our topic on the phase changes in the three states of matter, which is solid, liquid, and gases. So, magsimula na tayo. Matter undergoes either physical change or chemical change. Pag sinabi nating physical change, it is a change in one or more physical properties of matter without changing its chemical properties. Ang example nito, class, ay kapag nag-fold tayo ng papel into origami art, or yung solid that turns into liquid ay isa ding examples ng physical change, or yung liquid that changes into gas ay example din ng physical change. Pag sinabi naman nating chemical changes occur when a substance change into another substance. Ang example nito, class, ay burning of a piece of paper. Class, let us continue. Phase change is a process of changing from one physical state of matter to another. Like for example, katulad ng nakikita nyo dito sa ating figure. Meron tayong solid, liquid, and gases. Phase changes are physical changes because it only affects the physical appearance and not the chemical makeup like most substances. Water can exist in three distinct states, namely solid, liquid, and gases. Ngayon, class, ano ang examples? Tignan natin mabuti. Class, ano naman ang examples? Ito mga karaniwan na na-encounter natin everyday, like melting of the ice and boiling water. When ice melts, it undergo a change from solid to liquid. Yung ice is an example of solid materials. And when it melts, it turns into liquid water. Another one is boiling water. When water boils, steam is being formed. This signals a change of phase from liquid that turns into gas at certain temperature. Water changes from one state to another. Another one is the water molecules. Take a look at the diagram on your screen. The water molecules contain two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom, which is covalently bonded. However, there is no change in the compositions of water. The particles that make up ice, water, and steam will contain two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. A phase change just is a one type of physical changes. Class, listen carefully. I have here a new diagram. It has something to do with temperature. Tama, class. Ang lesson natin ngayon ay may kinalaman din sa temperature. The temperature is related to molecular or atomic motion. Bakit? Because when the heat increases, it makes some molecule move faster. Tama. Kung makikita ninyo dyan, it makes molecules move faster when heat increases. Ito yung tinatawag nating endothermic reactions. And when the temperature decreases, what happens to the motions of the object? The motion also decreases in the atoms. Ito yung tinatawag natin sa part ng exothermic. Molecular motion determines which pace of matters are being absorbed. For solid materials, it has slow-moving molecules. For gases, there are rapid moving molecules for gases. But how about for liquid? Listen, class. For liquid have molecules in motion that are slower compared to gas, but much more rapid than those of the solids. Now, during a phase change, heat energy either absorbed or released. Heat energy is being released, a molecules slows down and move closer together. And heat energy is being absorbed as the molecule is speed up and expand. Next, aside from temperature, meron din tayong tinatawag na pressure. Yes. If pressure is constant, the state of substance will depend on its temperature it is exposed to. For this reason, take a look at the ice. Ice melts when taken out of the freezer, and water boils out of a pot if we leave a high temperature for so long. Temperature is merely a measurement of the amount of heat energy present in the surrounding. So, when a substance is placed in the surrounding of different temperature, heat is exchanged in between the substances. Class, take a look at this figure. This is the motions of molecules. Kung mapapansin nyo, kapag nakaharap tayo sa screen, meron tayo ditong example of solid materials, which is ice. And on the right side of the screen, we had liquid materials, which is water. And there are phase changes on the state of matter, which is melting and freezing. And dito, it has something to do with the increase in kinetic energy. This figure shows the melting and freezing in water. As you can see, water is on its solid state, and the water molecules are close to each other on solid state. Ibig sabihin, limited lamang ang motions ng molecules on solid state. Next, the water molecules move very slow in solids. The energy needed for the substance to change the state is what we call as latent heat. As it absorbs latent heat, the kinetic energy of water molecules increases. So, they vibrate and move faster. At some point, they have enough energy to overcome the forces that holds them in their fixed places or positions. So, they break away from their fixed positions in solid. The arrangement of water molecules in ice gradually disorganize, and the ice turns to liquid water. In this phenomena, as the water absorbs heat from the surroundings become cooler. On the other hand, when the liquid water releases latent heat to the surroundings, the water molecules starts to slow down and they become closer to each other. As they become closer to each other, the attraction between the molecules become stronger and start turning to solid water, also known as ice, or we had here the process of freezing. Next class, another figure. This figure shows the change of liquid to water vapor and vice versa. So, meron tayo ditong liquid and gases. Okay. In the same way, when liquid water absorbs latent heat to the surroundings, the water molecules start to move faster and, in some point, have enough energy to overcome the attractions between them. As they overcome the bond between water molecules, the molecules move faster and turn into gases or water vapor. In the contrary, when water releases the latent heat to the surroundings, the gas molecules move slower, causing them to become closer to each other and creating more attraction between molecules and turning gas into liquid water. So dito, kung mapapansin nyo, meron tayong process of boiling and condensation. Again, for boiling, these are liquid that turns into gases or water vapor. And for condensations, these are gases that turns into liquid. Next one is the process of melting. Siguro, the most popular example for this one is ice cubes. When ice cubes are exposed to heat, what happens to ice cubes? It turns into water molecules. Again, in melting, it absorbs heat energy, and it is an example for endothermic. The molecules speed up and move further apart. For melting, these are solid that turns into liquid. When ice cube, its shape changes, it acquires the ability to flow, but its composition does not change. Melting is an example of physical change, though its physical property changes. Its composition stays the same. The temperature which ice melts is 0 degrees Celsius. Next one, another process is the process of freezing, or also known as solidifications. So, in solidifications, these are liquid that turns into solid. So, what are the examples of liquids that turns into solid? These are making of the ice. Yes, yung paggawa ng yelo. The molecules slows down, move closer together. It releases heat energy and it is considered as exothermic. Next one is the process of sublimations. In sublimation, these are the characteristics. The first one, these are solid that turns into gas without going into liquid phase or turning into liquid phase. Again, for sublimation, these are solid that turns into gas without turning into its liquid phase. The molecules speed up, move further apart, and absorb heat energy. It is under endothermic reactions. What are the best examples for sublimation? Okay, the example for sublimation are dry ice or solid carbon dioxide. So for this one, these are solid that turns into gases. Another one is uh, malt, mothballs or naphthalene balls or yung tinatawag nating naphthalina. These are solid materials. Kapag sila ay natunaw, it turns into gas nang hindi nagdadaan into its liquid state. Last one is deposition. For deposition, these are gases that turns into solid nang hindi nagdadaan into its liquid phase. Okay. Ito naman yung kabaliktaran ng sublimations. The molecules slows down and move closer together. It releases heat energy and we can consider this as under exothermic. So, ano ang example? Ang example dito are yung snowflakes. So, these are gases on the atmosphere that turns into solid. Another one is the process of evaporations. So, the best example here is boiling water. Yes, pag nagpapakulo tayo ng tubig sa pot or kaserola. The formations of bubbles is one evidence that there are evaporations that happen o yung liquid will turn into gases or vapor. So, for evaporations, it absorbs heat energy. What happens to the molecules? The molecules speed up and move farther apart from one another. It is considered as endothermic. So again, these are liquid that turns into gases or vapor. So, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Next one is condensation. So, ano nga ba ang mga characteristics of condensations? The first one is, ito yung gas na nagiging liquid. How about the molecules? The molecules slows down and move closer together. It releases heat energy to the surroundings and exothermic. Next class, take a look at the illustrations or diagram on your screen. This show an example of water cycle na napaka-importanting cycle on our environment. Consider the cycling of water in our environment. Because of the sun's heat, water from the oceans and other bodies of water changes from solid into a gas. This provides 90% of the moisture in our atmosphere. Most of the remaining 10% found in the atmosphere is being released by plants in the process of transpiration. In addition, a very small portions of water vapor enters the atmosphere through the process by which water changes directly from solid, ice, or snow to a gas. After water vapor enters the lower portions of our atmosphere, rising air current carry upward where the air is cooler. And the cool air, water vapor is more likely to change into gas or from gas to a liquid water to form cloud droplets. Now, the cloud droplets can grow and produce rain that falls over the land surface and the cycle continues. Now, class, let us wrap things up. For our lesson, the three states of matter are namely solid, liquid, and gases. The phase changes on the three states of matter includes endothermic and exothermic. For endothermic, it absorbs energy. What are the examples of endothermic? Ito ay melting, evaporations, and sublimations. How about the example of exothermic which releases energy? Ito ay condensation, freezing, and deposition. For the phase changes on the three states of matter, the process are, the first one is what we call as condensations. So these are gases that turns into liquid. Next one is evaporations. For evaporations, these are liquid that turns into gases. Next one is freezing. For freezing, these are liquid that turns into solid. And melting. For melting, these are solids that turns into liquid. Next one is sublimation. Sublimation are solid material. So, ito ay mga solid that turns into gases na hindi dumadaan into liquid state. And next one is deposition. Ang deposition naman ay, class, again, kabaliktaran siya ng sublimation, wherein these are gases that turns into solid nang hindi dumadaan on its liquid state. So, class, meron pa bang katanungan? Kung wala na, thank you for listening. Enjoy studying, stay safe, and God bless.